Odong, aka MacGyver. MacGyver, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yes, you've been in the league for about quite a long time. Can I say 10 seasons, right?
10 seasons. Yeah, you could say 10 seasons.
Yeah, you began like with Nam Blazers. Not actually, not Nam Blazers. You began with Bushcourt.
Yeah.
In 2013, you joined Power. Now you're currently with Nam Blazers. Then I remember when you're in Bushcourt, you promoted the team to the second division. You won a regular season MVP. You were top scorer. MacGyver, welcome to the show. Say hello to the viewers.
Thank you very much, Vinie, and hello, viewers.
So I want you to tell us about your basketball career briefly. Like, tell us about your basketball career. Like, where you started from, where are you right now?
So I started playing basketball in S5 with my school team, St. Joseph's Senior Secondary School, Nakalama. And I played there 2 years, of course, S5, S6. And then I joined Mobs, and I was enrolled into Bushcourt, where I played my first season.
Okay.
When we joined Bushcourt, the previous season it hadn't won a game.
The whole season.
Yeah, they were beaten the whole season. And then we joined. It was actually me and Benson and Steven and Chuchu. So we went in and met the Donald Wikesas, Emmanuel Masaba, Ivan, and then that season we went unbeaten. Actually, we only lost a game in the semi-finals.
Okay.
Against KU. So I played in Bushcourt for 2 seasons, promoted them from third division to second division, where I was also running as a captain. And then 2013 I joined Power and only left Power last year.
Okay, so personally, I believe you playing basketball was just for fun. At what point in your career did you think, okay, now let me take this serious?
I think when I actually started playing with Bushcourt, and we went 4 games into the season unbeaten. That was when I realized that actually we could be destined for the championship, or we are actually a good team. So basketball has always been fun, but I've also always tried to take the game seriously, to make sure that at least you contribute whatever you can to the game, and then at the end of the season you can look back at the season and be like, you know what, I really tried to put in a shift.
Okay, there's a famous slogan that goes like, ball is life. I don't know if you've heard of it. Ball is life. Of course, to players outside there, like basketball players, they totally know what I'm talking about. How has basketball affected your life?
Basketball has, first of all, exposed me to different aspects of life, but above all, it has taken me through different. I've gotten to meet different characters, different personalities. It has built my leadership skills. It has built my communication skills, and how to deal with people from different vicinities and different backgrounds. So the aspect of saying basketball is life, I can definitely relate to that statement that people make outside there, because they say the way you play the game and the way you handle the game and the teammates is the way you express yourself in real life. So it is a very key sport in nurturing your human capabilities. So I definitely relate with that. Basketball is life.
So you've spent 10 seasons in the league, 3 years in Bushcourt, and 7 years in Power. That's right.
Yeah,
So
2 years in Bushcourt
and 8 in Power.
and 6 in
Six
Power.
in Power. That's like 8 years.
Yeah, almost.
You've come along with different people, teammates, coaches. Who are those like players? Who are those people who have affected your basketball career positively or even negative?
First of all, it was to join Bushcourt. When I was selected, when they approached me to join the team, it was very humbling for me, because all they sold to me, the idea was, you're going to express yourself, you're going to play in the National Basketball League, and that alone meant a lot. So I just accepted it straightforward. But one of my changing moments in basketball was when I was leaving Bushcourt to join Power, and I really looked up to Ben Komakech in Power even before I joined, and I was definitely a Power fan. I used to love Power and the way they played, and I actually joined. So yeah, talking about one of the people who influenced my game of basketball and to push me to the next height was Ben Kumakage.
So it's basically Ben. No coaches inspired you, no teammates. It's only Ben.
No, that is the big leap.
Okay.
That is the big leap. But then when we look at the different players that we played with, first of all there was a Simwe Benson, because the one we joined Bushcourt with.
Yeah.
He was my roommate then at campus. We shared a lot, and our dreams were actually big for the team. And then Donald Wekesa, Don Wekesa,
Yes.
yes,
Former Bush.
former Bushcourt.
Yeah.
He looked at the game differently. Most of you who have interacted with him, so he would just he would just actually tell you and be like, you know what, nobody can stop you. Just do your thing, school those guys. So he was also very instrumental in the beginning part of my basketball career. But when we look at it's now when we joined Power, a professional team, that we started understanding issues of coaches,
Yeah.
issues of plays, issues
Fans.
of funds.
Yeah.
But in Bushcourt, and the championship we won then with Brian Wathum, is the one who coached us in the playoffs. So that was the first time I actually experienced what they call a play, what they call, running down the clock, what they call. But before, within the regular season, it was just expression. Just do your thing. And that was the preaching that Don was doing, Don Abukesa. So once we were playing the finals, that was when Brian Wathum came in. So when you talk about coaches, yes, he was that coach that changed that beat.
Okay, that's spot on. So I'm going to go look at your basketball career briefly. What has been your worst moment, like during your career,
My
on court or off court? Like, what's your worst moment in the game?
in the game, my worst moments have definitely been. I have had many of them, given that I've been in four finals, three finals, and I've lost all of them. Those double down as the worst times in my basketball career. So every time you reach the final and you think this is going to be the year, and then it's not.
Okay.
And then the worst part is you promise yourself the next year that it's still going to be the actual thing, and then it's not. So that is definitely my worst basketball experience.
Then
Losing
your
finals.
then your favorite basketball like moment, like
My favorite basketball moment was in Bushcourt when we won the championship. So now you can see that my favorite moment has taken long to come back, because all the years in Power we haven't clinged on to the championship.
then I'll also ask you about the memorable moments, like the moments you'll never trade anything for during your basketball career.
I will still stick with Bushcourt for the championship because there is nothing that covers that. But one of the most memorable times I've actually had in the sporting history is to be able to play with teammates in Power. So you find that they are very diverse, different characters. So the light moments that we share, that we have always shared for the past 6 or 7 years, have been irreplaceable. Even when you're trying to vie for a championship, or even when you lose the championship, there is that nice, great teamwork in Power, especially off the court, especially before the games, the chit chats. So I could never trade those years in Power for anything else.
Okay, so the truth is, in Africa, most especially Uganda, basketball is not like our profession. It's like I don't think basketball is your profession. You play it just because you have time to play it. I know you have a job that pays you outside there. Have you ever felt like quitting basketball? You're like, I think this is not helping me, or like have people advise you, what are you doing in this sport? You're not earning like a lot from it. Has that happened to you before?
Unfortunately, no, because basketball is one of the activities that actually helps me relax. So after a long day at work from 8 to 5, you get to court at 6 and do 6 to 9. It has always been an extra co-curricular activity for me.
Okay.
So no one has come to me telling me no, I think I should quit basketball. Maybe they may come in the future, but as of now, no.
Okay. So I want to talk about the game a little bit. On court, who has been your toughest opponent? Someone you're like, oh my god, I'm playing this team. I'm going to go against this guy. He's going to hit me. He's going to trash talk me.
Unfortunately, I haven't had such a moment. Every time we build into the game, we simply prepare for the best that is going to come out. But of course, there are players who are skilled, players who are really good, players who really know the game. But as a great competitor and the desire to win, you put that all aside and make sure that you give it your best on the court. So in simple terms, there is no fright every time we're going in for a game, and you're donning and thinking of that one player who is going to kill you on the court. No, that hasn't come up.
I'll get back to when you started playing basketball. What is the major challenge you've ever experienced? What did you go through, like when the first time you stepped on a basketball court? Usually, the big boys are always like, "That is Paul. He's a fresher. He's a little man. Can you go off court?" Did you go through challenges like that?
No, I think my basketball career has I shouldn't say smooth, but I haven't had to fight with players. I haven't had to be kicked off the court. I haven't had to be, bullied. Most basketballers have those stories of saying, when I was joining the team, I took long. These people bullied me. Those are memories of their sport. But the moment a team approached me before I played professional, like league basketball, and they asked me to join their team. And the team that I joined, they were very supportive. They just gave me the green light and the other young players that were actually there. So it was me, Benson, Chuchu, Brian, Steven. They just gave us the torch. So we haven't really experienced that time of when they say, playing time, taking off this one, challenges in the game. It really hasn't happened. So I think it's also a blessing, as my career has just sailed through in the two teams that I've actually played for.
You've been in the league for about 8 years, right? How do you feel about the game then and now? Any changes, any developments? Have we gone down?
I think generally the sport has improved based on from the time when I started playing. Different basketballers have come up and expressed themselves. They have improved, but one thing I have noticed is that we still have that problem of the young talent sprouting into the game and taking charge. So you find that in our year when we were joining in 2011, there were very very many young basketball players who played. Then they played under 18, they played under 20, but they haven't kept in the league, possibly because they have other commitments or something of the sort. So I think the only downfall I would look at is the retention of the talent. But it's totally understandable that people go and pursue other careers. So in case we would extend the retention of the different talents that we actually have in the league, then it would definitely put the league at a very very high competitive level, and also it would be good for the country during the nationals.
Okay, I also take pride in knowing you personally. I think I've seen you for 8 years. We've been in the league together like for 8 years. Being a perfect gentleman that you are, I know you have ambitions or goals as a man. Do you have any short term and long term ambitions you set up when you're joining the league? Have you achieved the short ones and are you to achieve the long term ambitions or goals?
In respect to the league, my my simple task was to try and win the championship in probably every competitive level that I actually played. So we played in Bushcourt the first time we won the championship, and then in the second division we failed to win the championship. And that year it was City Oil and Rhino that made the final in that division too. And then of course I really really still want to win a championship in the NBL. We shall see how that goes.
Okay, so why Nam Blazers? Moving from power to Nam Blazers. Nam Blazers is a promoted team. They were in division, I think Division One, and now they're in the NBL. Why did you pick Nam Blazers? I know there are lots of teams who would want you to play for them. I know you've got lots of approaches from different teams. Why Nam Blazers?
Actually, the irony of it all is that the approaches from the different teams have not actually been many. And simply because I could be looked at as somebody who is unapproachable or something of the sort. But in my whole basketball career, there are three teams that have approached me. That was in Division 2, it was City Oil and Power, so I chose Power. And then since then, until when I decided to leave, I have been committed, and I would say married
Power.
to Power. But the reason I chose to join Namongo Blazers was because one, my history with them comes way back. I had been seeing the team from when they actually joined in the league. I was always part of the people who were helping them out. It is my home team. I supported them as a player, even when I wasn't playing for them. So to me, Namongo, the move to join Namongo was basically I just wanted to play for my home team.
For your home team.
Yeah.
So did the players receive you? Were they happy you're joining them, or they felt like you're bringing competition? Now we have to learn from him from the bench. Were your new teammates welcoming?
Yeah, they were welcoming, and the move to join Namongo Blazers wasn't at the end of the season. The move to join Namongo Blazers was something I decided a year back in 2018. So my only commitment to them was let us work hard and join the NBL, and I'll come back and play for the home team. So the moment they joined the NBL, there was no questions. There was no pulling ropes. It was a straight up answer that I told them. I said, told the manager, yeah. So next season I'm going to be joining as I promised, and that was it.
So you've been in the league for 8 seasons. You have been in the finals 4 times. What is your goal this season with Nam Blazers?
The team. My personal goal with Lamb Blazers is to try and push the team with the different players that we have. Try and push the team to at least the playoffs. That is my personal objective or my personal ambition with the team. And my understanding is that with the players that we have, it is not something far from actually achieving. But we are not setting heads over heels being the first team, but we are also not anticipating that there could not be some miracles, or that we cannot know the way the game will go once we start playing. So different aspects will definitely change. So depending on how this is even just an ambition before we even start playing. So the moment we start the game, go down the first round, you then have the really blueprint of where the team needs to be and how far the team needs to go.
I'm going to go international and we're going to talk about the NBA. Do you have an NBA all-time team, like top 5 players from the NBA?
Yes, I do. I am really not a fan of the NBA. I really cannot sit there and say, let me watch a whole game, because it is it is very admirable, but it's something I really don't follow. I follow football actually more, but I definitely have an all-time five that I would think that if these guys held the ball, definitely nobody. Mixed generation or all generation, I would go with Jason Kidd at one. I would go with Ginobili. I remember the times we were at moves. I always told you how I liked Manuel Ginobili, and then of course Kevin Durant is a very good player. I was also inspired by, at least I watched the series. I got time in my campus days, and we watched the series of the 90s, how the Jordans used to play. So I would also go with Jordan and Karl Malone. That is just how I think.
I think those are four, right? Or five?
Those are five.
Five. Okay. Then locally, any all-time starting five locally?
Okay, all time starting five from when I started watching league basketball. I started watching league basketball when I started playing for Bushcourt. That was 2011. So I would go with Ben Kumakech. I would go with Alan Tawuda. I played with him in Bushcourt. but also the stories I had of him and how he used to play. I think he was very, very interesting in the way he was actually playing. I would go with Ken Balejusa. I think everyone agrees that he was a really, really good player. Those are three. And then possibly in the new era and the time that is running now, probably as of 2 years back, Henry Malinga. He was also a very good player and the way he used to play on the post. And I think Jimmy Nabro as well. So that would be a good fight.
All-time fight.
I don't know how the coach would place them, but I think they would just have to
Like
play
Team
that way.
USA.
Yeah, just like Team USA.
I know we're going through a very dangerous period in our basketball careers. That is, of course, the times of the global pandemic. How are you managing? How are you managing to stay fit?
Right now, I'm only mentally fit. So as of physically fit, it would be a question for another day. But in respect to the game, of course, you find some time off and do a few drills in the compound, but it is not as motivating as when you actually knew when the game is actually going to start. So at this moment, it's just basically trying to read more about the sport, watch a couple of things on about basketball, watch reviews of how games actually go, because most of these games are actually posted on Facebook or posted on YouTube. So it is in regards to the sport at the moment. The truth is, we are. I'm personally not really putting in a lot in regards to the sport, but I still think about it.
Then, being in a third world developed country, Uganda, our parents never really supported us from playing sports in school. Whenever you indulge yourself in sports, parents are like, you're becoming spoiled. They don't see the sense in playing basketball or soccer or cricket, name it. What has been your parents' effect on your basketball life?
It has been great because when I was playing, when I was joining Bushcourt, my mom bought me my first pair of shoes, and then she has watched only one game, and that was a final with City Oil. But in respect to the game, she has really supported me. She has pushed me to play games, let me go out and play games then when I was young, whatever time it was. But the first time she came and watched, she actually thought that they were going to kill me because she had never seen anything like basketball in life. And now when they come, they are 6 footers, they are, very, very great
Tall guys.
players, tall guys. So that was our first impression after the game, the conversation we had. Said, aren't those boys going to kill you? So, but she has really been supportive in the game.
Okay. Then, lastly, any word to the fans who want to become basketball players, to the little kids? What advice would you like to give them?
For the fans, I know right now these are daunting times. They are unprecedented times. You're used to your normal schedule of Friday to Sunday watching games and Wednesday. We are all just hoping for the best because now right now this is the new normal. We can't do much, but all we have to do is just hope and hope that the league actually comes in place and actually takes place. For the children, being a parent as well, I just advise them to, you know, keep doing what they're doing. We have a couple of players that are actually doing a good job. The kid camps, the children camps, that is Ben Komakech and Jimmy and his team, the coaching staff. That is really selfless of them and very, very kind to be able that they can pass on their skills to the young generation. So it's also a very good step that the league is actually taking and the players are actually taking. The players are starting to pass on their skills. They're starting to pass on their time, have little chats to players that actually the young kids that actually look at them as role models. So that is very humbling, and we should see a couple of such activities coming up from basketball players, from coaches, even the actual team should actually support because you never know that is where the next big stuff for the team might actually come from.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that has been Paul Odong, aka MacGyver.
Yeah.
MacGyver, thank you for coming. I hope I will host you again next time.
Yeah, sure, without a doubt.
Okay. Thank you so much.
COVID.
Give me a-
COVID-19.
that is MacGyver. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go into a short break. We shall see you in a little bit. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
That's the spot on.